have a special treat for you today. Ice cream. You just have to make it using science. It's easy. Just put the cream and the sugar in a bag. And put that bag into the ice salt mixture. Can anyone tell me why?
Because you're too cheap to buy ice cream?
That's exactly right, Echo. The salt lowers the freezing point of the ice, making it cold enough to make delicious ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream?
Nothing as fancy as vanilla. This is plain ice cream. That way you can taste the ice and the cream.
Come on, let's throw some flavor into this thing.
I don't think we're ready for flavor.
A little of this and a little of that.
Derby, chemistry is a precise science. You can't just mix a bunch of random stuff together and expect it to work.
Did it? I made ice cream.
Derby, what have you done?
I think it's pretty obvious.
I've discovered I'm a werewolf. Now, back to my ice cream.
You're not a werewolf. You must have created some kind of hair growth formula.
That's another possibility.
Goodbye summer, hello fall. Trying to get here since we met. Barely 2 feet tall. Call again, call again, call again. Call me when you want, but I won't get older. Where I am call again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joe, also known as Jay-Z Productions on YouTube. I got an amazing guest for the Boys Podcast. What is your name, sir?
My name is Gig Morton.
Welcome, Mr. Morton, or Gig. I got a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Okay, so what are you doing during these times of quarantine?
Mostly just trying to keep busy. I still work. Like I have a job outside of acting, and I do security and maintenance for a nonprofit organization. I don't take a lot of shifts there. It's not my favorite job because like acting is what makes me happy, and I try to just keep myself busy during these times. And I've been doing a lot of Twitch streaming, as you know, trying to make YouTube videos, and yeah, I'm also doing university courses, so that takes up a lot of my time as well.
Awesome. I'll be sure to link your Twitch and my YouTube, your YouTube in the description. I got you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Got you. What made you want to become an actor, and who was your biggest inspiration for acting?
Well, I started acting when I was 7 years old in community theater in my hometown of Comox. And I mostly just started doing it because my older siblings, my sisters were doing theater, and my mom was like, hey, you have lots of energy. You probably enjoy this. So I tried out for a play, and I ended up getting like a whole bunch of different small roles and really enjoyed it. The director seemed to really like working with me because like for a 7-year-old, I listened really well. And then I just continued doing theater, and I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't until later on, a couple years later, when I was 9, when I did a play, and I was kind of discovered by a casting director. And I wouldn't say discovered; it's more like the casting director was working on the play. She was the one organizing it, and she recognized how much I enjoyed it and my abilities, and suggested that I meet with some agents and set up some meetings. And it kind of went from there. And for me, my main inspiration with acting is giving people an escape, some like entertainment value. It doesn't have, like my acting, I don't consider it like the best acting in the world. I'm not trying to be the best actor in the world, but I like entertaining people, and that's my favorite thing. And for people who I look up to, when I was younger, I really looked up to Jim Carrey because I thought he was hilarious and really entertaining. But as I get older, I more look up to people like Chris Evans, and mostly just actors who seem really honest on camera and they leave their ego behind. They're not trying to prove anything. They're just there to enjoy acting and to entertain people, like what I want to do.
Awesome. It's really cool. I like that.
Thanks.
What is your favorite acting role that you've done for a film and TV show and play, etc.?
Okay, well, that's an interesting question. I like the question. My favorite role that I've done is probably Derby from Mr. Young, just because it's kind of like well, it's the biggest role that I've ever done because it's like the longest project that I've ever worked on. And it was just really fun to go to work every day. And instead of feeling like work, it was play. It was probably my dream role. And I really enjoyed making people laugh and just being silly every day. Like that was the joy of the character. He was a funny guy, and he was like the funny man on the show. So I really enjoyed being the funny man. Other than that, like I would say I enjoy most roles. Each has their own aspect to it that is really enjoyable. Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. Do you have a favorite derby moment that you have?
Favorite derby moment? It's really hard to pick one. I get asked all the time, like, what my favorite episode is, or what my favorite joke was. And to be honest, I can't, it's hard to pinpoint one because we had so many episodes. We had over, I feel like over 80 episodes. I think it was 80 episodes, and every single one was so wild and so much fun that it's hard to like remember one single moment. But I think anything to do with Derby in general, like one of my first big episodes that we had for Derby was Mr. Inventor when he invented the hair growth formula. That was really fun because the plot really focused on Derby. And then, of course, a classic is the last episode where we kind of went back in time and we did all these different plays on like Back to the Future and other callbacks to other classic shows and movies.
Awesome. It's really cool. You did really good as Derby, by the way.
Thank you very much.
You did really good. If you could pick any movie, TV show, play, etc., what role would you have loved to portray? But obviously, you didn't portray the role. You wish you did, though.
Yeah, so something that already exists. Well, I've been very, very fortunate. I've gotten to audition for a lot of things. Like as an actor, not a lot of actors get the opportunity to audition for that many things. And I've been very fortunate to have really good representation over the years and get the opportunities to audition for things. Like I got to audition to be the new Peter Parker, the new Spider-Man. This was a number of years ago now because obviously the franchise has grown and it's been Tom Holland for a number of years. But before he was chosen for the role, I actually got to go to LA and audition for that role at the Marvel casting studio. So that was really cool. I would have really liked to be Spider-Man. I can't say I would do as good of a job as Tom Holland. He's an amazing actor. But yeah, I think Spider-Man would have been good. Anything else that I didn't audition for, I don't know. It's hard to say. I've always wanted to do like sci-fi and action. I try not to get too hooked on one thing that I wanted to do, or that maybe an opportunity that I didn't get to have, because I don't want it to like bring me down, right? Like I like to think that the actor that got the role is the actor that was supposed to get it, the actor that was best for the role. So I try not to think in the mind of like, oh, I wish I really got that role.
Okay. You said you like sci-fi action though?
Yeah.
Because I actually write, believe it or not, because that's what I do as a hobby, just like write scripts, because I like writing stuff. Over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with your co-stars, directors, etc.?
So unfortunately, I'm not really in contact with anybody, like co-star wise, from anything that I've done. Occasionally, I'll run into like Rogie or Kurt from Mr. Young because we live in the same city, and I'll see them out and about. As in terms of like directors, when I used to live in LA, I would like get in contact with producers and directors from Mr. Young, and I would have coffee with them or something like that just to catch up with them. But no, I actually don't. I haven't. Other than social media, sometimes like I'll see posts from people, but I'm not really in contact with anybody, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Who was the coolest person you worked with?
Well, I've worked with a lot of really cool people. I'm very fortunate to have worked with like Christopher Lloyd. I mean, I've also met a ton of people that I didn't actually work with. Like I met Bill Hader once, just like out of coincidence at a hotel I was staying at.
That's cool.
Super nice guy. Actually, I met him on my birthday, which was cool. I don't know. It's hard to pick one person, and the thing is, yeah, I just consider myself super fortunate to just be an actor in general and get to have opportunities that I do. I would say Christopher Lloyd was probably like one one of the biggest legends that I worked with. I got to work with Callum Keith Rennie.
Oh,
He was really awesome. I also got to work with Clifton Collins Jr.
okay.
He was really cool, really intense actor.
Mhm.
And then I also just want to say, like, it's kind of weird, maybe, but some of the actors I've gotten to do scenes with in acting classes are like phenomenal actors and actresses, and I feel like I could shout them all out, and that would be worth it because they're just so good. And there's a lot of people who don't get to actually get to work and get to be seen on screen who are actors that I've like worked with in classes. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool that you worked with Christopher Lloyd, though. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I was like 12 or 13, and I was just like awestruck the entire time. I think I was standing near him in the scene, and I was just like, I couldn't stop watching him because he's so entertaining.
Yeah.
And then I had to remind myself, oh wait, I'm on camera. I gotta be like playing my character.
see, I'd be like, great, Scott.
Yeah.
Oh man. What director taught you the most, and which director would you love to work with?
Director that taught me the most, probably the first director that we had for Mr. Young,
Okay.
which would be Adam Wiseman. He taught me a lot in terms of, and all of us in terms of like multi-camera, because no one, I mean, in Vancouver in general, we have no multi-camera shows. So like Mr. Young and like sitcoms in general, we don't have those kinds of shows here. So he basically had to give us a crash course on set etiquette, on how the whole 4-camera system works, and all of that. So I'd say I learned the most from him. But I'm very fortunate. I've gotten to work with a ton of directors, and I'd say I learned like something new from every director, because every director has a different style.
Awesome. That's cool. Any director you'd love to work with? Is there one?
I mean, any big director would be awesome. I again, like I said, I'm very fortunate to have auditioned for a lot of things, and I can't, like, because I've had so many auditions, I can't remember all of them. But I think like Steven Spielberg would be cool, because it's just like, you know, he just does all these like big classic movies. My mind is blanking. Who's the guy that directed the second Iron Man? He did a bunch of Marvel movies.
I forgot his, maybe James Gunn. Are you thinking? Could be
No,
wrong.
well, James Gunn would be awesome too.
What's it?
He played Happy in Iron Man
Oh,
movies.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau. Yeah, I would love to work with Jon Favreau. I think he's so cool.
Awesome. Okay, that'd be cool. Imagine a Jon Favreau, Steven Spielberg movie, and then you're like the star. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
I think I would like die of shock if that happened.
You'd be like, oh my god, oh my. You know what I mean? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you weren't an actor, what would your career be, and what other interests and hobbies do you have besides acting?
So I guess if I wasn't an actor, I would probably, like, before I got Mr. Young, I still lived in my hometown. I would commute to the city for auditions, and my favorite thing outside of acting was science. Oddly enough, like, people always assumed that because I played derby, they're like, "Oh, do you hate science too?" I'm like, actually, no, I love science, and I'm like a huge believer in science, and I read scientific articles for fun, and I was actually in grade 8. I was still homeschooled, but I would go to the local high school, like the one that my sister went to, and I joined the robotics club because I really liked robotics, and I would read about robotics and wanted to keep up on what was the latest trends and stuff. And so I think if I didn't do acting at all, I probably would have ended up going to university for some sort of science, maybe environmental sciences or something like that, because I really like the environment and want to try and take care of it. But yeah, I think I would have ended up going into some sort of scientific field. I would have wanted to go to post-secondary education and get some sort of degree for a scientific field.
Awesome. That's really cool.
And then any hobbies that I have, like I said, I like entertaining people, so I do anything to do with entertaining, Twitch streaming. I like just watching movies, having some downtime. I also write as well. My girlfriend and I are writing partners, and we've written a pilot, and we're constantly working on ideas and stuff. But I'm someone who really likes to take my time. So when I write something, it might take me like a year to write it or longer, or I might have an idea and I might not touch it for a while.
That's cool. Okay. So you guys are making a new TV show then? You and Erica?
I don't know if we'll actually like make it. We technically have completed the pilot. We still think it needs a lot of work. We've been sending it to writers and directors that we know, slowly trying to get some feedback. So far, the feedback's been positive. But yeah, I'd love to, like, the goal with this thing that we wrote, and I wrote it like when I had nothing else to do. I was living in LA and I had no auditions. I had nothing to do, so I was like, I might as well just like work on this idea that we had. And I wrote an outline and wrote a first draft, and then Erica helped me a lot with like cleaning up, and she was the one who came up with the idea originally, so she fixed some things for me. And the original idea was to just write something to possibly have the opportunity to pitch, right? To learn how to pitch and to be like, hey, here's an idea. How do I go forward and be like, here's my idea, and hopefully you like it, and maybe someday meet a network executive or something and be like, hey, I have this idea. What do you think?
Awesome. It's really cool. Believe it or not, my uncle, he's actually a director.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
He directed, I don't know if you ever seen Friday the 13th, part 4 though.
Oh.
Part 4.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Maybe if you...
No worries. I found that directors who work on horror films are the most efficient directors. I once did a commercial years and years ago for Aviva Insurance, I think it was, which is kind of odd because it's like as Canadians we don't hear of these insurance companies because these are American insurance companies. But I think it was directed by a guy who directed one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Oh God!
And he was like super efficient, and I think we filmed the entire commercial in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Like it was really quick. Like that's just unprecedented for commercial, especially.
Wow, I was like, dang! Oh my God, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Favorite band and type of music?
Favorite band. So when it comes to music, I'm pretty like I have pretty limited knowledge of music, but I'm also so more limited to older music. So my parents were teens in the 70s, and so a lot of music that I enjoy is 70s music, as well as like one of my favorite more modern bands is M83, and I'm a big Bare Naked Ladies fan. I say that with a little bit of like embarrassment because not everyone loves the Bare Naked Ladies, but for some reason I could just listen to their songs all day. And they're Canadian, so proud of that. Favorite band, I think all-time favorite band has got to be the Beatles. Just super classic. Really enjoy their music, and I really enjoyed them when I was a child and listened to them when I was a child, so it kind of brings me back to my childhood. So favorite modern band, I guess I would say M83 is one of them. Lately I've been really getting into Wallows. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I've been really enjoying their music right now. Really nice music. Yeah, so I've been really enjoying Wallows music. I'm very fortunate to have gotten to work with Dylan Minnette before. He was in Air Buddies and Snow Buddies. And actually, no, I think it was just Snow Buddies. He was just in Snow Buddies. And he's a really nice guy. Like, I remember I worked with him, and I didn't really talk to him very much when I was working with him. And then later on, I was in LA for the Young Artist Awards. I was nominated. And I didn't even know he was there, and he was sitting at a table. He was like, "Hey, Gig, hey, remember me?" So it was really cool that he knew who I was, and like I obviously knew who he was, but he recognized me and said hi. So yeah, that was cool.
See, I like my favorite band. I actually got to meet them, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, who's it?
So my favorite band, they're 70s, 80s, 90s, and they have so many iconic songs you would know them. Do you know the band?
70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess.
Okay.
90s might be pushing it. Okay. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons?
No, but good guess, though. I actually met that dude, Frankie Valli. I actually met him.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But that's not the band, though.
No, what is it?
Okay, We Are the Champions. That's your hint.
Oh, Queen.
Yeah.
Queen. Yes.
I met...
Great band. I'm also a big Queen fan as well. I remember for my 11th birthday, I was given Queen's Greatest Hits.
Ooh, okay. That's awesome. See,
yeah.
I met Brian, the guitarist, and then Roger, the drummer. I was like, oh my, you should have seen my face. Like, no, legit, when I met Brian, he put his arm on my shoulder, and oh my God, dude, I was going to die out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Hopefully, when things get back to normal, sooner rather than later, are there any projects that you have in the works?
No, I don't have anything in the works. I've been working as a stand-in, so like behind the camera, on just a bunch of shows that film in the city. So nothing specific, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'll get in there for some auditions and maybe land a role.
Maybe, you don't know. Don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool. Watch out for a gig.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay. What advice would you give younger people who also want to become an actor?
I would give people, anybody who wants to become an actor, even not younger people, anybody, because you can become an actor at any point in your life. I'm just very fortunate that I got to start fairly young, and I would say, first of all, if it's your passion, if it's something you really want to do, never give up. You can always improve, and you can always work on it. I think, personally, I think I would have taken classes and stuff a little more seriously when I was younger. And then the other thing I would say is keep yourself grounded as you can. Someone who I look up to, a mentor of mine, who's actually my dance mentor, Jim Hibbert. He's my tap dance mentor. But he's worked in the film and television industry for a really long time. He always told me, keep your nose clean. And people could take that as like however they want. It could mean anything, but I always took it as like, keep your ego in check. Like don't get full of yourself, because it's so easy to go get on the defensive, especially with all this like rejection and just being told you're not good enough for roles and stuff like that. I mean, I probably only book 0.5% or less of the things that I auditioned for. I have 23 credits on IMDb, and I've auditioned for probably, in my lifetime, close to 1,000 things.
Wow.
So it is like a grind, and you got to remember that, like, if you go in and you don't get it, whatever, you weren't meant for the role, or it just wasn't the right day, wasn't the right timing, or maybe you wouldn't have done as good as you thought you could in that role, or whatever, right? And I've even done things where I'm shocked that I get it. When I do it, I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job, and don't feel very satisfied about it in the end. But that's the way it went. I had it, and I worked. I wish I had done better when I look back on it, but that's just the nature of the business.
Anything you want to promote or shout out?
Just my Twitch channel. I've been having a lot of fun streaming almost every day and hanging out with people playing games and trying to put some entertainment out there while I can with this whole pandemic and that kind of thing. And my YouTube channel, I'm not really working on much right now, like I said before, but yeah, I just love you guys to come and hang out with me on Twitch and YouTube and say hi.
Best streamer out here, just saying.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh
yeah, when someone follows, I have this gif of me dancing from I think it was my I can't remember if it was my 12-hour stream that I did when I hit 500 followers, but I have this reward for points, because if you hang out with me on Twitch, you just get points from hanging out. And I can't remember how many points it is. I think it's 20,000 or something like that. You can get a 3-minute dance party, so you pick the song, and I have to dance for 3 minutes straight.
That's funny. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Gig, for being a guest. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome.